Well, hey everybody, we've got a new tip video we want to show you. We're going to show you how to use this infamous Aviom system. Everybody plugs into it. Everybody has some sort of earbuds in their ear coming from it, but I'm sure not everybody knows how to use it. So we're going to get in depth, showing you all the ins and outs of it. I'm actually currently recording into the Aviom. You can hear my voice coming out of the Aviom in my channel right here, which is typically handheld 2. And you can see that in my channel. I'm turning myself up and down, where you can't hear me and you can hear me. And then I'm also got my acoustic guitar right here. That's running through the Aviom. So everything you're hearing right now is coming out of the Aviom. I would highly recommend for this video that you use a pair of headphones, whether it be earbuds or if you have a good pair of in-ear monitors or some Dre Beats, whatever you got. Just use some headphones because you need to hear the differences between some of the things that we're doing here. But let me firstly just go ahead and walk you through everything on the Aviom that you need to know about. So what we have down here are 16 different channels, and they're labeled, and we can make them whatever we want whenever we need to. But currently, and you know them, they're labeled drums, bass, acoustic, electric 1, which is typically my electric, and then electric 2 is typically the lead guitar player, keyboard, piano, click track, samples or loops, the orchestra channel, handheld 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. And so we can individually control each one of these things and make a mix so that we can hear what we want to hear and be able to play with feeling and know what everybody else is doing, kind of as a reference. So how you actually control each one of these channels to be able to turn it up and down is you select what channel you want. We're going to select my acoustic here, which is channel 3. Just click on that one. You'll see the LED light up behind it. And then you've got right here your volume control. So when you have a channel selected, you can then turn that channel up and down. You can pan it left and right. You can solo on it, or you can mute that channel. So these things right here, solo means that you can, it has nothing to do with Han Solo or Star Wars, but it means what it sounds like. Select that channel, and now you can't hear me. All you can hear is my acoustic. Now you can hear me. So you are soloing in on that channel to where you can only hear what's coming out of that channel. So if you're sound checking your bass or your voice or something, before we get started with practice, you can select what you want and then hit solo. And then everybody else who's playing, you don't have to hear over them and figure out, what you're playing over everybody else. You can just solo in on it. Or if you hear a buzz coming out of something and you're not totally sure what it is, just select the channel you want and just solo, and that'll get rid of everything else until you find what you're looking for. And then respectively, you've got the mute button, which you might want to do for a respective service. So if you are in the first service and you don't want to have the electric 1 or electric 2 because we don't use those, you can select electric 1, hit mute. You're not going to hear that one in your in-ears. And then you can select another one and hit mute. Until you hit mute again on that channel, it's going to stay muted. And if you can see, I hope you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but there should be a little yellow LED underneath that. You see that? And that indicates that it's muted. And you can see that these two right now are muted, and the bass should be muted as well. But then when you have that channel selected, hit mute again, and it unmutes it. And then you can hear that channel again. Same thing with electric 1. Currently we have the bass channel muted because when we unmute it, you can hear that buzz. And it's just because there's no bass plugged into it, and so there's just kind of a nasty signal. So we're going to mute that for now for the sake of this tutorial. Okay, so then what you can do to those individual channels, and this is some advanced mixing, but it's something that you all need to know about because we have so many different things that we're listening to. 16 channels all coming into your ears at one time. It's hard to know what to listen to and what not to listen to. So you can take an individual channel. We're going to take my acoustic, for example, right now, and you can pan it to the left or to the right. Now, this is where the headphones come in. You can take the acoustic channel, go to the left into your left ear, or to the right into your right ear. Now let me show you the difference. I'll just play right now, if you've got headphones on, you can hear me right in the middle, in both ears. Now I'm going to pan it all the way to the left. And you can only hear my acoustic in your left ear. Now I'm going to pan it all the way to the right. You can hear my acoustic only in your right ear. Or you can kind of put it a little more in the middle, so it's kind of right in the middle, but a little bit to your right. And that is panning. Now this is important because when you're mixing, you don't want to have everybody just blasting right in the center. It's kind of hard to hear everybody else when everybody is coming at variable volumes, but in the same place in your mix. Because we have the ability to separate these guys, it's just like a CD. You can take the electric one, this is just an example, and pan it all the way to the left, and the electric 2 and pan it all the way to the right if you want, and then you can differentiate between those two channels. You've got two completely different guitars, and now you can actually separate them just by listening, and you're not having to figure out which one's playing what. So this is very, very helpful, and I highly recommend you guys practice using the pan feature as well as using the volume feature. Okay, now that's individual channels, how to control those. And then you also have, this is your master EQ and your master volume. So everything that you've done over here on your mix with individual channels, soloing, muting, volume, panning, all of that, you can control the overall bass level just like you would on a CD player in your car or a stereo in your house. You can turn up the bass so you can kind of hear a little more on my low end, and that's clipping and peaking. It doesn't sound very good, but if you're a bass player, you may want to turn up the bass just a little bit so you can hear your low end come through. And if you're a vocalist, you may actually want to cut some of that bass out so it doesn't muddy up your mix and your vocals cut through nice and clean. Same thing with the treble. You can turn that up, and now my voice is nice and crisp and clear, but this is happening to everything. The overall mix. You can hear as I'm playing, everything sounds brighter, and then when I take it back, everything sounds muddier. So if you are having trouble differentiating between the low end rhythm section and the high end stuff, you may just want to play with that a little bit. Don't get too crazy with it because you may end up really ruining your mix. And then, of course, you have your master volume, which turns everything up and down. So you're taking both my voice and my acoustic, which are playing here, and turning them all the way down together. So your whole mix can go up and down. Now, in conjunction with that, if you're a vocalist and you use a wireless in-ear pack, you also have a volume on your wireless pack. So what I would recommend if you're a vocalist is put your master volume about right here, and then control the volume, the whole overall master volume with your pack. And that'll really help you maintain a steady volume for everybody who's using a pack, and then you can control how you want it individually instead of turning everything up for everybody. Okay, now the biggest part of the Aviom, it wouldn't be very great if every time we got up on stage we had to redo all of this. So as you can see, we have some labels right here. Currently we have Ryan Wade is saved on channel 15, and we have Raj saved on channel 8. What that means is we can take the mix that we got for our rehearsal on a Wednesday night or something like that, and save it, and then all we have to do is get there on Sunday morning and then recall that setting, and we're back to where we started. We're back to where we left off at the end of rehearsal, which is incredibly useful. So for me, every single week, I barely have to do anything but just tweak my mix a little bit depending on who's playing, who's singing, what mics are positioned where on stage, and almost every week I barely have to do anything to my mix. So all I have to do is save it and then recall it, and then on Sunday morning it's perfect. It's exactly how I wanted it. This is extremely useful. So I think when you guys come in on Wednesday nights and practice, get your mix set just right, exactly how you want it, and then save it. And then every time you come up to play, when it's your turn, you can recall that and then do the same thing that I do, just kind of adjust it to how you like it. Let me show you how to do that. Over here on this side, these two buttons, you can see right above it, it's labeled Save, and it's got these little lines with the circles on the end. That means if you hold these two buttons and then click any one of these 16 channels, I'm going to, for instance, click number 12, and you'll watch all the yellow LEDs will start lighting up on this. I guess the red ones. That means it's saved. So then, on Sunday morning, after everything's been turned off and this thing's been unplugged, you can come back in and use recall, which is right here. You can see it labeled recall. Hold this one. Actually, you can just click it, and it'll start blinking, and then hit number 12. It'll recall your settings. Now let me show you how this works. I'm just going to recall Dave's mix just for a second and show you the difference between the two. So this is me, my voice right now with my acoustic. This is going to be Dave's mix. I'm going to hit recall and hit 8. Okay, now you hear that bass come in there loud again because now it's not muted. You can hear how much louder the acoustic is. Maybe it's Ryan's turn, so I'm going to hit recall and turn up 15, so his mix is different as well. He needs a little more of me, I think. So everybody needs a little more of me. But now we want to go back to what we were. So we saved on number 12. We're going to hit recall, go to 12, and now we're back. Everything's just the same. The Aviom is extremely useful, and if we're not able to use it and not able to figure out how to mix it really well and get it exactly how we need it, it's going to be really frustrating for us. So I hope this tutorial video helped you. If you have any more questions, let me know. Make a comment on this post, or send me an email or a text, whatever you need. I want to make sure that this thing is second nature to you. Hope it helps. Thanks, guys.